titled GenX Podcast.
A podcast sometimes hosted by two childhood best friends, always dedicated to the pop culture that raised us.
I'm Kate. I'm a writer and a midwife.
And I'm Lori, a writer and a pop culture lover. And today we're doing something a little bit different. Kate and I are on an epic road trip adventure to the GenX capital of the world, which is, of course, Seattle. Like, right now. And we're in the car, and so jump in the back seat and buckle up, because we're taking you on a ride to talk about what else? Road trips. Road trips! So, if the audio is for shit, and I suspect that it is,
we did our best.
We're literally recording on an iPhone. Actually, two iPhones.
We're on the road.
So, all right, let's get this party started. Kate, I wanted to start off by talking about our first ever road trip adventure that we took in high school.
Yes.
And do you want to tell our listeners about it?
Yes. So our senior year of high school, we're all still 17.
Yes.
So under the care of our parents. And we have this little group of friends. It's two guys, me and Lori, and our other friend, who is a girl. And one of our friends, his mom lives at the river in Bullhead City.
I don't even know. Arizona.
Like
unclear.
So we cook up this great plan that we're going to go there for spring break. And somehow, all of our parents sign off on it. Which I still don't understand.
Me neither, especially because I liked the guy that was driving. And my mom knew that. I was in like a semi-relationship with him.
Right. And the other guy liked the other girl,
yes.
Although there wasn't a relationship there. But
right.
So like point number one of like, how did this come to be? No one knows the mom.
Oh, never met her.
Yeah, nobody. None of the
Don't
parents
have
know.
her contact information at all.
Right. Nope. Just head it off. No cell phones, right?
Right.
Lori and I and our other friend are at my house waiting for them to come pick us up. And they told us to be ready at like 8, maybe?
I don't even know.
Anyway.
But you know what day that was, Kate?
No.
That was the day Kurt Cobain killed himself.
It was?
It was, because I was watching the news in the morning, waiting for the final word of when we were going to go, what time, because, you know, boys can't plan. That was the day Kurt Cobain.
Wow.
It was reported on the news.
Wow.
And the irony, because we are headed to Seattle, we are actually going to hit up Kurt Cobain's house where it all happened.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah. But how did our parents say yes? I mean, I had super protective parents.
My parents did not let me go on like a school trip to New York or Washington, D.C. And yet they were like, sure, yeah, go ahead. We were ready.
We were ready to pile into the cab.
Into that, like, so it was like a pickup truck with like one of those little like cab covers, right?
A shell, yeah.
Yeah. And so the guys rode up front and we rode in the back.
No
like,
seatbelts.
No seatbelts on a like interstate driving adventure.
And how far away was it?
Been driving for a year.
For a singular year. How far was it away? 5 hours? 4 hours?
Probably 5 or 6 hours. Yeah.
In the back of that damn cab.
Right.
This was the trip where I drank the alcohol for the first time underage.
I took a picture of it.
You did? I've never seen this picture.
You don't remember?
No.
You were like, nobody take a picture. So like being the greatest
with your stupid like actual camera.
Right, with the actual camera. So I think I may have actually destroyed that picture. I snapped the picture and Lori puts down, because it was beer, right?
I don't even remember.
Puts down the beer can, looks at me and goes, fuck you, Catherine.
Which was not something I would have said back then.
And Lori does not call me Catherine.
No, I don't. And back then, I don't know that I was dropping F-bombs very much.
She was pissed.
And I was a very good girl. So this was a deliberate choice to consume. And I do remember saying in the middle of the night, out on a random street in Arizona somewhere, unbeknownst to me still, telling you all how much I loved dancing.
Oh.
in the street. I was dancing to no music.
Did you have a flannel tied around your waist?
I mean, I often do.
Yeah, I feel like I remember this. I also remember that at some point I got really annoyed with like the relationship, or like whatever you want to call it, like the teen angsty relationship drama between like you and the dude, and then the dude and the other girl, and I was like, whatever. And so I left to go take a walk, somewhat intoxicated, in this place that I don't know, right? Walking down the street, a cop pulls up beside me, and I'm like,
what?
Oh, no.
I don't remember this.
And he goes, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Because I was still like cranky. And I was probably smoking a cigarette. And he was like, all right. He goes, what are you doing out here? And I was like, I'm staying at my friend's down the street. I just went for a walk. And he was like, okay. He goes, is that your friend? And I was like, yeah. Because like I just wanted him to leave me alone.
Right.
And he was like, okay. He goes, but it's fine. And I'm like, yeah, it's totally fine. And he's like, all right. So he drives away, and then I like turn, and there's this like random dude behind me.
Shut up.
And I'm like, oh, hey, I should probably go back to the house now. So I crossed the street, and I turned around and I walked back and lived to tell the tale. But like, also like reason 527 why we probably shouldn't have been allowed to go on that trip.
Oh my God. It's still a shock to me this many years later that we all that we all survived it.
Right. And then we also decided to drive to Vegas one night, which was not close.
No, it wasn't close. And there was nothing for us to do in Vegas. We were 17.
No, we just like but I mean, it was the first. So I went to Vegas a lot as a kid because I had a grandma and other family that lived in Vegas. So I like stayed on the Strip like back in the day when it was just like not the Vegas that we all know today. So I think Luxor had just been built in the MGM Grand. So we did like go to those places. And do you know that is the last time I have spent any time in Vegas? I still have family there. So like I've gone back and seen family briefly, but I've never like gone to the casinos or anything.
Wow.
So, but like unless there was stuff going on that I don't know about, there's a cop. That's why I had that little. I was like, am I speeding? I'm actually not speeding. It was a fairly innocent trip. Like there wasn't like sex happening.
No.
And like we all came out of it not hating each other.
Well, okay. So the guy that I was sort of dating at that time, the minute we got back, he started going back with his ex-girlfriend.
His younger ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, we were supposed to go to prom the very next month, and, you know.
Do you think that he thought that maybe you were going to have sex on this trip, and then when it didn't happen, he was like, I see.
I can't pretend to know what goes on in the mind of a teenage boy, even though I'm in the process of raising one, and I have raised another one. Perhaps. He did tell me, though, that I made a better wife than a girlfriend. Ew. So I think that's what that means. Because, you know, when you're a wife, you stop having the sex. But when you're a girlfriend, you have all the sex. So maybe that's what he meant by that.
Right.
I don't really know.
Or maybe he meant, like, it was just not the right time in his life.
I don't think he was thinking, like, long-term relationship. So, okay, well, because we are a Gen X podcast.
Yes.
Cate, I wanted to play a little road game with you.
Okay.
And this is courtesy of the Holderness family. They're an influencer family. Their stuff goes viral.
Songs, right?
Yeah, they have stuff all over the webs everywhere. And so they have a quiz called How Gen X Are You?
Oh.
Okay.
Uh-oh, the pressure. What if I'm not that Gen X?
Well, okay, so I decided to quiz you because you were always better in school than I was.
It's true.
And so I wanted to see how you would do. All right?
Okay.
So we're going to see how Gen X Cate is. I mean, as a sometimes host of a Gen X podcast. All right? The pressure's on.
The truth will come out.
Yes.
I'm a fraud.
All right. Let us begin.
Okay.
Which pop star had her own perfume called Electric Youth?
I mean, come on. Debbie Gibson.
Okay, true. Ding, ding, ding. Good job. Number 2.
I had it also.
Yes, as did I. I can tell you exactly what it smells like.
Yeah, and like the bottle had pink, like a pink
spiral down the straw of the pump.
I am bad at podcasts because I just made a hand symbol for the spiral.
Yeah, well, I mean,
did y'all get it?
We all knew. Okay, number 2. What supermodel was the original host of MTV's House of Style?
Oh. Cindy Crawford?
Yes!
Okay.
Rebecca Romaine went on to host after. Okay. Number 3. What was the name of Patrick Swayze's character in Dirty Dancing?
Oh my God, wait. Johnny.
Johnny what?
Castle.
Yes! Good job. All right.
I was like, Cash. No.
No. Okay. Number 4. Who played the guitar solo in Michael Jackson's song, Beat It?
Eric Clapton. Slash. Jimmy. Oh, no, he wasn't around.
He was dead. Wrong. It was Van Halen, Eddie Van Halen.
Oh. Yeah, I never knew that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay, number 5. I actually did already know that one, but I didn't know number 5. So let's see if you know it. Number 5. Quote, "Get to the chopper" is a famous line from what film?
Apocalypse Now?
No, it's Predator.
Never saw it.
It's an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Do they show his ding dong in that movie?
I don't think so.
About that. I feel like
his nude genitalia?
Yeah.
Like they show his junk.
Frontal.
Well,
yeah.
Don't they maybe... I don't think it's frontal. In Terminator, the original Terminator,
he's naked. But you don't see his
stuff.
Thing. Also, I have never in my life before called a penis a ding dong. I'm a nurse. I know all the anatomy terms.
I'm learning so much today.
But yeah, so if you happen to know if Predator showed Arnold Schwarzenegger...
I mean, I'll Google it.
Yeah. Okay, well, I don't want to be by this boat anymore.
Yeah, there's a boat right next to us.
It's like
it's
an
probably loud.
load, and it's and I just can't, I passed it, and now it's back.
And why is he driving so fast?
Well, and why is he driving next to me? I don't know. Just go.
Oh, he shook his head at us. What did you do? He's the one with the oversized boat.
Oh, he's Canadian.
Well, that's why. Canadian people are nice.
No. Sometimes people don't like my bumper stickers.
Oh, he literally drove by and shook his head.
I don't know. Whatever. I feel like you're oh, that person did this weird thing or whatever. Maybe people are doing this to me all the time and I'm just oblivious. Because I grew up in LA and so I don't look at the people next to me.
Maybe it's me.
I don't know.
All right. Number 6. What does VHS, as in a VHS tape, stand for?
Video. Okay, wait. Oh, you're an excellent driver.
Oh my
Shake your head at me, friend.
I shake my head at your shitty driving.
He literally, just at the very last second, cut across traffic to get off an off-ramp.
With an oversized load, with a big-ass boat.
I don't know what his issue is and why he was shaking his head at us, but, that's not a good driver, friends. Okay.
VHS. Anyway. Video,
home system.
Yes! I didn't know that.
That's a terrible... It doesn't even make sense. It's not grammatically
video home system. Yeah.
Home video system, HVS, would have made a lot more sense.
Okay. What company released the first camcorder?
Canon.
No.
Nikon.
No. Camcorder.
Oh,
all right.
Sony.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Sony. Okay.
I just figured cameras, maybe they carried over into
video cameras. Yeah. Okay. How many dots are there on a Pac-Man board? Is this a thing people knew back then who played?
100.
No. I mean, you'll never guess. We could play this game all day.
98.
No. 244.
Is that 12 times 12?
No, that's 144.
Oh, 200. Sorry. I was good at math.
Katie did
once.
better at math than me in school. Okay. What year was the World Wide Web introduced? I kind of don't like this question. Once you hear the year, like what does that even mean? Like ever existed or like introduced to the mainstream? Because these are two very different things.
So interesting fun fact about me, again, because I have to sprinkle myself throughout history in one way or another. I briefly dated a man who was a bit older than me.
Kate likes them old.
I do. I like older guys. Always have. Who helps, he was part of the beginning of the internet. He's telling me about it, how they this idea sort of came to be in different circles at the same time. And I'm like, did you invent the internet? And he's like, well, not me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, do you know Al Gore? And he's like, well, I don't know him, but I've met him. And I was like, wow. So anyway, I'm gonna say 1987.
1991. And I don't know what introduced actually means in this regard.
Right, because but okay, that's fair.
Okay.
Whatever.
Moving on.
All I know is there was a time where there was no World Wide Web in my lifetime.
Right. Number 10, last question.
Okay.
What was the name of the first cloned sheep?
Oh, Dolly.
Dolly. Good job. Okay, let's see. How did you do?
I missed 2.
No, you missed Michael Jackson's Beat It. You missed Get to the Chopper, 2. First camcorder, 3.
Well,
Pac-Man, 4. World Wide Web, 5. Okay, so 50%. So you got an F on this quiz.
I felt like I got a lot right.
I think I just celebrated your wins.
I don't get extra credit for Johnny Castle.
No, that was the answer.
I know, but I got both names.
That was the answer.
Okay, well, I feel like that was hard, and I never saw Predator, and I liked Michael Jackson, but here's the truth. Right now, my favorite artist is Brandi Carlile. I could not tell you who plays drums for Brandi Carlile.
Well, no.
Right?
But
I've seen it's the same drummer
okay,
all the time.
But
and I've seen her live a bunch of times, but I don't know his name. So how would I know?
That's kind of like saying you didn't know that Stevie Ray Vaughan played guitar on David Bowie's Let's Dance. It's just a thing that people know.
Right, you know it or you don't. And,
right,
yeah,
and I did and you didn't.
Right, so it's fine.
It's fine. Okay, moving on from games. Well, this is kind of a game. I did some research on road trips, right? And there's a lot of fun questions out there in the world on the web for partners or besties or even strangers.
Podcast co-hosts.
There you go. To ask each other to learn more things about each other. And I thought it would be a cool way for us to celebrate this road trip. Do you want to do it?
I like this idea. And it also makes me think of, do you remember there was an article going around a while ago that was asking anyone these I think it was 102 questions. It was a lot. You'll fall in love with somebody if you go through these questions with them. And I was so fascinated and I really wanted to try it. But I was feels like a lot of pressure to pick the person I want to fall in love with. Oh. So I never did.
What if you fall in love with me during these questions?
I'm already in love with you.
Oh, thanks, friend. All right, let's get started.
Okay.
So I'll ask them, and then if they apply to me at all, I'll answer them also. Okay. We're going over a bridge.
Oh, pretty water.
Ooh, this is so pretty. Washington is lovely. Fun fact, friends, I've never been here before, and I live in California. No excuses.
Fun fact, friends, I live in the Pacific Northwest, and I've never been in this particular part of it before.
Well, there you go. I'm so excited to go to Seattle, by the way. I mean, okay, we have big plans. I don't know that we're going to be able to hit up everything. This is what's on the schedule. This is what my stepdad calls a schedule. Okay, the schedule. Okay, we're gonna try to hit up Jimi Hendrix's grave, perhaps Bruce and Brandon Lee's graves, Kurt Cobain's house where he died. This is a lot of death, I understand. The Singles apartment complex from the film Singles, which Cate and I did an episode on. The Space Needle.
Yes.
The, what's that called? Pike's Market.
Yep.
And
maybe a ferry ride.
Cate really wants to take a ferry ride. So, you know, this is the plan. And we're going to be there a little bit more than 24 hours. So this is a lot to do.
Because that's how I roll.
I'm super excited. This is such a Gen X adventure. And yay. Okay. Now I'm sidetracked. I got excited. I got excited about our destination.
It's fine. Road trips are like that.
Okay. Let's jump in, Cate.
Okay.
Give me a play-by-play. Well, I mean, maybe not in too much detail because because this is a podcast and we have a million questions to get through. But I want to know your worst date.
Oh, so I'm very particular about online dating. And at a certain point, I was like, maybe I'm being too particular. Maybe, because I know whether I'm going to like someone or not. No, let me put it this way. I know when I'm not going to like somebody. I don't always know when I will like them, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But I was like, maybe I'm not giving people enough of a chance. So I went through this phase where I was just more open-minded about who I went on dates with. And then this put an end to it. I met this guy. He drove like 3 hours to meet me.
Wow.
Right. We went to literally like my favorite place in the city I was living in at that time. It was within walking distance of my house. And we just had like lunch. But it was so awkward. It was so awkward. And at one point, he just like stopped talking. We were in the middle of a conversation, and he just stopped and he closed his eyes. Like he was like pretending he wasn't there anymore. And like kind of like moved his... No,
What?
Yeah.
Did he have narcolepsy?
No. So what happened? So this is something that I do because I find it interesting. Is that because I can fill awkward silence if I need to.
Sure.
Like I'm very good at that.
Right.
But what I like to see is how people react to awkward silence if it happens to occur. I don't try to make it occur, but if it like happens, I just wait because I like to see what happens. And this is what happened. We had an awkward silence and I just sort of like let it ride, and he closed his eyes. And like what was also strange though is that he sort of like moved his head like he was like looking around the room, except his eyes were closed. And then he like just like put his head kind of down, like not down on the table, just like down. And I was like,
did you say, are you okay?
I just was like, what?
Are you having a medical emergency?
And then like he sort of like came back and we had more conversation, but then he did it again. And I was like, okay.
I think he had narcolepsy.
No, he was not asleep. It was like he didn't know how to process the awkwardness, so he just like
checked out.
And I was like, there were just lots of like odd moments, and I was just like, and I realized this was not gonna work out well. So it started to rain outside, and we went outside to say goodbye, and he's like, well, do you want to like go see a movie or something? And I was like, no, I'm sorry, I have to like get back and do whatever, you know. And he was like, oh, well, I could walk you to your car. Which, by the way, friends, when you first meet someone, do not let them walk you to your car unless you like feel really confident that like they're safe and it's all good. And I was like, no, that's okay, I walked. And he's like, oh, but it's raining, like I could drive you home. And I was like, no, that's fine, I don't mind walking in the rain. And then he like leaned in for a kiss,
and you were like, buddy, never gonna happen.
What? How? And like maybe honestly he was like neurodivergent. Like I mean, probably that was the circumstance. So I don't mean to be unkind. Like it was a different time in my life, and I didn't really have a great understanding of that concept, but like he just was not picking up on social cues at all. And so I like turned my head and I got like he got like a mouthful of my hair essentially. And I was just like,
you do have a lot of it.
Yeah, that's true. And then I walked home like a longer way in the rain because I didn't want him to know the direction of my house. So I like went the opposite way and like swung around the block. So, okay, fine. But then he texted me. Like he like got home and he's like, I made it home safe. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. And then he was like, we should do it again sometime. And I was like, I just didn't feel like there was a great connection.
Wow.
Literally texted me like every like major holiday for about 8 months. Like, and I was just like, and I didn't respond because I was like, for all he knows, this isn't my phone number anymore.
Yeah.
It was just a very, like, it wasn't so, like bad dates happen, whatever. Like, it's fine. It was the like continuing to pursue when I had made it, like, I wasn't coy about it. I was like, no, I just don't think it's a good connection.
Yeah.
So that was my worst date.
Wow. Well, as you know, I didn't date, so I can't contribute to this. I met my husband, and the end of that story. Okay, number 2. What is the bravest thing you've ever done?
Ooh, I know the bravest thing I've ever done, but in the interest of like some privacy and anonymity, I'm not going to say what it is.
Okay. The bravest thing I've ever done. Honestly, I think getting married young was the bravest thing I ever did. It wasn't necessarily the most popular choice I ever made, you know, with my family. And not like in a terrible way. It was just a very bold choice from me, who wasn't a person who ever really made bold choices. And, I mean, I got married at 22 and it was a brave choice and I have zero regrets.
Yeah. Well, and what I think is funny is that at the time, because many of the adults in our world were like, you're so young. And we were like, what? She's 22. She's done with college. Now, like 22 is young, friends. It's young.
It's young.
But it all worked out. And I don't want to take credit.
I have a 20-year-old.
Right?
Young.
That would be like your kid getting married in 2 years. And I'm just going to say that I did, like, if not for me, what is with this oversized load?
Wow, there are things happening on this road
it's
today.
It's a trailer and it just wandered off to the side shoulder.
That was
just
scary.
Wandered off.
That was scary.
Not great drivers in Washington.
No. Okay, so this trailer that's ahead of us that looks like a mini house, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I was young, I remember being on the freeway with my mom, and I saw one of these, and I said, Mom, is this what they mean when they say that a couple split the house? Because it looks like half of a house.
Right.
Yeah. My mom's like,
funny.
No, it's not. All right. What annoys you most at a restaurant?
People who like let their children run wild.
Fair.
Children are part of our society. Like, I get that kids aren't going to be super well behaved all the time. And if you're at like, you know, a family restaurant, like whatever, if they're crying, if they're whatever. But people who just like let their children run around to where they're like a safety hazard for the other people, or they're like running up to random people's tables, like, no.
Yeah, fair. Okay, what annoys me most at a restaurant? The list is long and plentiful. So, do not seat me under a light that feels like I'm being fucking interrogated.
Yeah.
Okay, restaurant lighting is so important. Not because I need to look good, although I do enjoy dim lighting.
Right.
I don't like to feel like I have a spotlight on me when I'm eating my food. That really bothers me. Number 2, do not sit me near the kitchen or the drink station. I don't want to be there.
Right.
I don't want to be there. And I have a million other things, but like those are my 2 big ones. And I will be that person that asks to be moved. And I do it often.
Yeah,
I'm not rude. I'm not rude about it. I'm the nicest because I'm a nice person. But like, no.
Yeah, like when I was a server, if people didn't want to be, like, it doesn't matter to me. If you don't want to be there, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. What is the most illegal thing you have ever done that you don't mind sharing on a podcast? I mean, you broke into a bowling alley once.
That's true. It was closed.
It was closed.
They, like, shut down this bowling alley.
It was donezo. Like, whatever.
Yeah, like they shut it down and they actually like tore up the lanes.
Okay.
I guess
so you couldn't sneak in there and bowl.
So people wouldn't bowl. But they like left everything.
Including the booze from the bar. Including the booze from the bar.
And they didn't lock it. They put a fence around it with barbed wire at the top.
Which Cate climbed.
And in like the most badass like moment of my youth, which never will be repeated. I mean, my friends that climbed the fence, not shocking that they did it, but like that I managed to do it, I was very impressed with myself. So we jumped the fence and then the doors just opened right up. And this was like one of those like 1970s bowling alleys. It was with like a cafe in it. And
I think it was older than that.
Probably, yeah. And like it was, and we just, but like now that I think about it, I'm like, man, anyone could have been in there, right?
Oh, for sure.
Nobody was. It was just us.
It wasn't in a great area either. It was kind of in a seedy area.
And like it was so, but like we went in there and we drank the alcohol.
Like who knows what other mouths were on those bottles?
And we were like,
how do you not have hepatitis right now?
We were like, the alcohol will kill it. It's fine.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I guess maybe that.
Like you escaped without hepatitis and without tetanus.
Right. I know. Like
it's a miracle.
Like I made it. I was fine. So
I'm trying to think of the most illegal thing I've ever done. There was a time when my kids were small and we were in a Borders Books. We used to go to Borders Books all the time. And I had my son in a stroller and I would, find little board books for him and whatever. And because I was pushing a stroller, I didn't have a cart or anything. So I would put books on the canopy of the stroller. And more than twice did I walk out with board books that I mistakenly stole. Now, at least 2 or 3 times I went back into the store to pay for it or return it and be like, I'm sorry, I walked out with this, I didn't want it. But I think like maybe the 3rd or 4th time it happened, my husband's like, you're either keeping the damn book that's $5 or we're never going back to Borders again because you keep stealing board books from them. So I think that might be it. Quite on accident, by the way. So, okay. What is your love language?
Oh, physical touch. Absolutely. My secondary love language is quality time.
Okay. So physical touch is absolutely not mine.
Interesting.
It's not mine. It's my husband's. Yeah. It's not mine. He'll come over to cuddle with me and I'm just like, can I have some space? Oh. I'm that person. Quality time is super important to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your favorite memory of us? Me and you. I've known you my entire life. We have pictures of us together as babies.
Right.
Favorite memory.
That's an interesting question.
I know. I was like, can I pin it down to one?
I know. Like, I feel like I can't pin it down to a specific memory, but like, because things like this happened multiple times, but like definitely, and like also with our neighbor that we were friends with, like we would like do like these like lip syncing or like singing, like
dancing,
like with the side ponytails, and like, so I feel like those are like when I think of like growing up and being kids together, like that.
Yeah, me too. I mean, one of my favorite memories also was when I was pregnant with my oldest son. I think I told you before I told my husband.
You did.
I was freaking out. Like, I wanted to be a mom. I was very excited, but I was petrified when I finally took the pregnancy test and I called you.
You did. I was living in one of my apartments in Hollywood and you were crying. And you were like, I took a pregnancy test, and I was like, oh honey, it's okay, like it'll happen. This was like the first month that you tried, and you're like, I'm not crying because I'm not pregnant, I'm crying because I am. And you like burst into even more tears.
And you guys, this baby was planned. This baby was fully planned. I think I wasn't expecting to get pregnant the first month. It was the first month.
Yeah.
Like how lucky, right? Like, wow. But I think I just wasn't.
You were like overwhelmed.
I was very overwhelmed.
And yeah, like it is funny. Like, I feel like, because I wasn't a midwife at the time, right? I was still an actor. And I think that, like, if you have the spirit of a midwife, you just have the spirit of a midwife, because I cannot tell you how many people I have known were pregnant before anyone else did. And not because they told me, not because I just guessed, but like because they told me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
What's the best travel advice you can offer? I mean, we're on a trip. We are traveling.
My best travel advice is to like go off the beaten path, I guess is how I would put it.
Great advice.
Yeah, like take the opportunity to go to like the random places, and if something calls to you, like you're like, it's so weird to go here and it's going to add like an extra day to my trip and it doesn't make sense, like 100% go to that place.
Yeah, like even so I took a little family trip a couple summers ago to Solvang, and like on the way there's an ostrich farm, and I'm like, we drove by it and we're like, that's kind of weird, and it was starting to rain, so like all signs point to don't go to an ostrich farm in the rain,
right?
But I was like, let's just go here because it's too weird not to.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, it was one of the best decisions we ever made. Like the memories.
Now,
never miss a chance, friends.
Did they tell you the difference between an ostrich and an emu?
Yes. Yes, this was a straight up ostrich farm.
Okay.
It was wild. We fed them.
Oh.
It was crazy. They are very social. I mean, they want the food. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But it was cool. I think the best travel advice I can offer, and this is like more like mom advice, if you're traveling internationally, particularly to another country where you do not speak the language, bring fever reducer for your child.
So
bring
the dosing.
The medicines, because I was in Hong Kong with my family. I think my son was, let's see, I don't know, 11. And he ended up with a fever. And I went to the pharmacy and I was freaking out. And thank God the pharmacist spoke English, because there was no medicine in English. It was very scary to be so unprepared there. Anyway, what's your favorite cocktail?
Many, but
many, all of them.
I feel like it depends on the mood that I'm in, but like the two things that I like the best, like, is a gin and tonic with a lime twist, or Jameson and ginger beer.
That sounds yum.
Also with a lime twist.
I'm trying to think my favorite. I love me a sugar-rimmed lemon drop. I really do, when it's done right and it's done well. And also, I love me a spicy Bloody Mary.
Yeah. So I like Bloody Marys, but I don't like vodka. So I feel like I need to start experimenting with like gin Bloody Marys.
Sure.
Because I do like me some gin. But right now the gin that I have is like not great for a Bloody Mary. Like I need one that's less aromatic.
I like a Bloody Mary while I gamble in Vegas.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Something about it.
What are your feelings about the like ridiculously over the top garnishes on some Bloody Marys?
I'm into it.
Okay.
Like, you know, we always make fun of my husband because he loves IPAs, and not like in a millennial sort of way. Like, he really loves him some IPAs, and he likes to chew his beer. He wants his beer to be a meal. And this is what I feel like is kind of happening with the Bloody Mary. Like, we've got our bacon and
like
our
a burger.
olive.
Yeah.
and celery, and like give me all of the things. Like this is becoming a hearty like meal that belongs in the food pyramid, quite honestly. Like I feel like I'm getting daily nutritional value in addition to my alcohol, and I respect that. I'm into it. Okay, we're gonna shift the focus to pop culture.
Okay.
Who is your favorite musician of all time?
Of all time?
All the times. Not just where you're at right now. In all the years you've lived.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of pressure. I think because she has had the most profound effect on my life, and her lyrics are just like, if I had a soundtrack to my life, like her music would be the soundtrack to my life, is Dar Williams.
Okay.
So, and if you don't know who Dar Williams is, you should go find out, because she's wonderful. Go immerse yourself in Dar and like enjoy.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge music lover too, and this is really hard for me because you know how much I love Elton John. I always say he's my favorite. That's like always what I say, because it is how I feel. But I struggle. I really, really love Paul Simon, and
Paul Simon is
I just magical. Like
also
Paul
really
Simon.
Great lyrics.
He's a poet. He's a true poet, a phenomenal musician. Something about his voice.
Yeah.
It's a tie between Elton John and Paul Simon, but god damn, I love them both so much. Like I love them so much, I feel like I could cry. Just talking about them makes me want to cry.
There, but for the grace of you, go I.
I know.
Yes, yeah. And also, I should have mentioned that Dar has a really great song about actually, she has quite a few songs about driving, but there's one where she's talking about driving across country, but part of it's in the Pacific Northwest and like driving along the Columbia. So it's like very appropriate.
It's like this.
Yeah, and I think that song's called Emerald. I'm sorry that I don't know titles, but like check her out.
Nice. Okay. What is your favorite movie? Or if you can't choose a favorite, a comfort classic.
So, for a really long time, as a child, I was obsessed with The Sound of Music. Like, every time we went to the video store, that's what I wanted to rent. And I do have a special place in my heart for that. But, like, I think in terms of, like, movies that just, like, Reality Bites, I think is just gonna, like, always be one of my favorites. So.
I don't know what my favorite movie is. There's just so many to love, right? I would say, like, near the top of my list, if I could ever narrow it, is Sliding Doors.
It's a good one. Yeah.
Gwyneth Paltrow's Sliding Doors, it's brilliant.
I think that how you feel about Sliding Doors is how I feel about Reality Bites.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like Sliding Doors as well, though.
Favorite book?
Women Who Run with the Wolves. It's like my touchstone. Like when I am struggling in life and I don't know what to do, I literally just open it to a page and like always the answer is there.
Wow.
Yeah. I highly recommend this book.
Wow. I really loved 100 Secret Senses by Amy Tan.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Amy Tan. Like, I think I've read maybe 4 of her books. I just think she's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I feel like there isn't such thing as a bad Amy Tan book. Okay, this is the last question, and this is perhaps the most important of all.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Would you ever consider going on a TV reality show? And if so, which one? Like a Love is Blind, like a Bachelor, what's it called? The Bachelor?
Just Bachelor.
Like, what's it called? I don't watch that one.
Probably no.
Okay.
Because I feel like people are brutal.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know that I could take all of that coming at me, the exception that I would make is if somebody decided to do like something like Love is Blind or The Bachelor that was outside of sort of the type of people they cast in that. So if they wanted to do one with like people in larger bodies or like women who were like people who were older, like maybe to be kind of groundbreaking and to like sort of shatter some of the ridiculousness of that.
What if it was just like a series following like nurses or midwife, like career oriented?
No, absolutely not. I don't want like my professional life.
Okay. So your love life, maybe. Professional life, no.
Right. Like I like the concept of Love is Blind, kind of. It's weird, right? But the problem is whenever they have girls on there that I wouldn't even call fat. Like I would just call them like
normal,
slightly, like normal.
Well, I don't even like that word. Like what is normal?
Like average.
Average.
Right?
Normal was not the word.
But like, and I feel like they just like they're there, and then all of a sudden you never hear from them again.
Yes.
And also I would feel like there's kind of an expectation that the people on that show are going to fall within a certain body type and age range.
Yes.
So it wouldn't. It would feel.
I feel like they're doing so much better in terms of diversity.
Diversity,
I'm celebrating. I know we're like really narrowing down to Love is Blind specifically, but they really are.
Oh my gosh! Do you know what I want to see more than anything? Is I want to see a bachelor and a bachelorette with gay people. Like,
oh, fascinating. Yes.
I feel like why isn't, I mean, except, I don't know, maybe gay people would be like, I don't want any of that. Like, you all do your thing.
I don't know.
Your het thing, you do it. But, like, I just think why not? Like, why are you excluding, like,
I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's coming.
Like, so.
I don't think I would do it. When I was starting out in my blogging career, there was a call to send in audition tapes for moms. It was a parenting reality show, and I sent in my tape, and I was all about it. We were all sort of gunning for that. All of the bloggers, parenting writers out there were gunning for this gig. It didn't end up going anywhere. I was willing to do it back then. I think because I was a new reality consumer at that point, right? Knowing what I know now, like I'm a Bravo junkie. I watch a lot of reality TV. I wouldn't dare.
Yeah, like
my relationships are too important.
I just think like, I don't know. It's just, and then, you know, you just never know how they're going to edit you. And like,
no.
And I think, and like, how real would it be? Because I think in the back of my mind, I would always be like, this is on camera, people are watching you, people are judging you, right? Like, so even if I was trying to be as authentic as I could be, like, that would always be in the back of my
they always
mind.
say like, oh, you forget the cameras are there. I'm like, bullshit, you forget the cameras are there. It's like a crew of 1,000.
Right.
You don't forget.
Like, it's in front of your face.
Yeah.
Like, do I sometimes forget that my dog's, like, nanny cam is on? I do. And then I'm laying in bed and I'm like, oh, shit. Hopefully nobody's hacked it because...
And this is why we podcast, because we don't have to be on reality TV, and I get to do the editing.
Right, exactly.
If I second guess something I said, I could take that out later.
Right, like literally sometimes I say something and I'm like, cut that.
No. What Cate does, you're better about that now than you used to be. We would record a whole podcast, 2+ hours of recording. And like, as she and I are signing off, she's like, oh wait, I said something, I don't remember what it was, but I didn't like it. I want you to take it out. I don't remember what we were talking about.
If you hear me say something that you think was dumb, like I wouldn't want to say, like, cut that.
Man, you put a lot of trust in me.
But now I'm better, and I say the thing, and then I'm like, oh no, leave that out.
Yes, you say, and that was what I said. Can you please just tell me right away if you second guess something?
Yeah.
Yes, but you do put a lot of trust in me with the editing, and I hope that I have honored.
I've known you a long time, so...
I hope that I have never disappointed you in that regard. I try not to.
It's just, you know, it's like people... It's a scary world out there.
For sure.
To put yourself out there. And, like, I had a friend that, like, made a post And then somehow, like, somebody shared it to, like, this Facebook group, and, like, and then people came at her.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Scary.
You don't want that to happen, so
Yeah.
be nice, friends.
Yes.
Be nice.
So, I guess that's it. I mean, we are going to be on the road for another hour or two. I don't know,
I think
couple of hours?
like 45 minutes.
Okay. Is it too soon to stop and pee?
No, I am a big believer in peeing at any point you need to pee on a road trip. So,
Man, if only we had a penis like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I mean,
in
like,
Predator.
I didn't.
Predator penis.
Continue for half a mile.
Ooh.
See, we are in the car. But where's the gas station? Why isn't there a pointy sign?
Oh, we don't have to go to a gas station. That's not my favorite.
Where did you want to go?
Like a fast food establishment.
Well, maybe there's one here. So, all right. Well,
Okay. Well, you guys, thank you for joining us. Now it's all quiet, see? Because we pulled off the freeway.
Right, because we're done.
Yeah,
So
because
now
we're
it's
done
quiet.
and it's quiet and the audio is probably like sounding fresh.
But yeah, but you know, whatever. You got to come along on a road trip with us.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you like what you're hearing, rate and subscribe so you never, ever, ever miss an episode. And you can find us on the socials. And we love you. And we will be touching base from our Seattle GenX road trip extravaganza.
Yes.
Okay, we hope you keep in touch, beautiful people. Bye.
Bye.